everyone, welcome back to Kitchen Table TCG. I finally got some fake Flesh and Blood cards. I have been waiting for a long time. I ordered the fake Flesh and Blood cards to do this video, but they never showed up. So it's even like I got scammed by somebody making scam cards. It's amazing. It's absolutely amazing. But a good friend of mine reached out and was like, hey, I heard you got scammed. You didn't get the cards. Want you to be able to do it. So they sent some cards. A fan of the channel, a loyal, fun patron. Shout out to Nubby. So Louis, thanks for agreeing to do a video on these. I think the Fab community needs to know that these exist and the importance of how to spot a fake from a real card. Knowledge is power. So, let's talk about the cards. I opened this and then I couldn't get. I'm not very good at opening things. Okay, let's talk about these fake cards. We're gonna bring out a stack of other cards. We're gonna give some of my takes and my opinions here on fake Fab cards. For the rest of the video, you can know that there's a fake card if it has a red tag on it. These are the two fake cards that he sent me. I trust him. I trust that these are fakes. Also, I can tell that they're fakes because I know how to tell the fake, and that's what we're going to do in this video. It's actually relatively easy. If you've held a Flesh and Blood card, I don't know that you would be able. I actually almost lost track of these two cards. I don't know that if you just held a Flesh and Blood card, the feel of the cards is, in my opinion, almost identical. The gloss of these cards is pretty strongly good. I mean, it's not really I don't know. The gloss feels pretty good. The feel, the texture feels pretty good. The thickness, the weight of the card, it's pretty good. On a first feel, you would not be able to tell what's different. However, that being said, as soon as I held the card, I literally opened these cards when I was sitting in my car in the post office. I looked at the back and I said, that's a little light. And that's how I instantly could tell. And for me, somebody who holds Flesh and Blood cards every single day, I do Flesh and Blood content, I hold Flesh and Blood cards every single day, I could tell that the back of the card was just a little light. And you can see, comparatively to the correct tunic, the back of the card is a little light. Now, we are going to get into the nitty gritty here in a little bit about how to spot fake cards and how to know for sure that a card is fake, because there is technology built into these cards to assure you that you can figure out is your card real or not. But this first part of this video, I want it to be geared towards a new player. I want to highlight some of the issues with why you need to do your homework and figure out, are the cards that you're buying real? Because they are really good fakes. This is a really, really strong first fake cycle for TCG. I have to admit, and I have to say, this is a really strong, great first fake cycle. And here's why. Flesh and Blood has had a bunch of different print runs, and I've got some examples here. Here, we're just looking at the backs of the cards. This is Japanese Crew, which is what Crew Unlimited. That's what these cards were. That's what this fake is. It is a card that is faking a Japanese Crucible Unlimited card, because Crucible Unlimited only had a Japanese printing. That's really important to know. Here's a Japanese WTR print. Here's let's do a Belgium WTR print. Here is a Belgium Monarch print. Here's a Belgium Arc print. Let's get the zoom there. Come on, baby. Come on, don't do this to me today. Belgium Arc print. And here's a Belgium Everfest print. So now let's take a look at some of these different print runs and show you just something that's definitely an issue in Fab. Can you spot the ones that's different? I think it's probably pretty hard, because there's a lot of different backs here. See how different I can sense at least 3 different shades. This one's obviously lighter, and let's move it. Let me show you. It's not the camera. It's not the looks. It's not where the light's hitting. This one is obviously lighter. There are definite lighter, even Japanese Crew compared to Japanese WTR. there's a lot of variance in the back of the cards, and that's not like it's not like a dig on Flesh and Blood. Honestly, in the pandemic 2020, a lot of printing issues, you're trying to get your cards printed. It's something that's going to happen. It probably happened with other TCGs. I should probably be evaluating Magic cards and see did it happen with that. But there is a lot of variance in the real cards. These are all cards that I pulled from booster packs. So there's a lot of variance. So if you were to just be like, Louis, that's a lighter back on the fake card. Remember, the red tag is fake. I would be like, yeah, but that doesn't really matter. I mean, if you compare, where's the lightest one of these, right? Give me the, this Belgian Monarch one is probably the lightest one. Maybe this Japanese WTR. Let's go with this Belgian Monarch one compared to the fake. Those are pretty similar. It's a little lighter still, but it's pretty similar. And here's the real crew. See how much darker the real crew is? But if you were like, I mean, these are both real cards. Like, this is darker than this. These are both real cards. This is the real Crucible Tunic. This is the real Belgium Monarch print run. So the backs of the cards are all kind of different. And that's an important distinction, because this is going to require you to do some bigger homework to understand, is your card real or not? Let's talk about the front a little bit. Let's compare the text and things like that. From a new player perspective, you would not be able to tell a difference. Remember, the bottom one is fake. A new player is not going. There's nothing here that is identifiable as fake. There's just nothing. There's just not. Bottom one is. Let's do even the set symbol. Bottom one is fake, right? Everything is almost spot on. I mean, it's like you can't just tell. You can't just tell. Maybe the coloring, but again, that can just be a variance in shading, right? So you can't just tell. And for a new player, that's going to be the issue. So here's my suggestion for you. If you are buying cards on the internet, you need to buy yourself what's called a jeweler's loop. And this is like $10 to $15. This is a really nice one. It's got a light built in. It's got a lot of things built in. So let me go back. My first initial opinions on this is that these are really, really good fakes, and they scare the living daylights out of me, because this is the first rendition of these fake cards, and that's an important distinction. These are going to get better. That's something to understand moving forward. If they were successful, if they sold a lot, if they made a lot of money, they will get better. They will figure out the coloration and make it more like the specific print run, because you can kind of know. So they will get better, and that's terrifying. But if you are buying cards on the open market, you need to do a couple things. First off, know who you're buying from. If you're buying on TCG Player, look for some of the stores that you recall from content creators, or I'm not just being me. Look for some of the stores that you know and you trust. But then also, more or less, you need to buy every single expensive Magic card that I buy. Any reserve list card that I buy, I use a jeweler's loop. It's just what you got to do these days. And here's what you're looking for. This started with Magic the Gathering. They put this technology into their cards 30 years ago, and any TCG should be doing this if they care about the value of their cards. So they put this technology into their cards. It's called the green dot test. And the way that the printing works, I'm not going to get into it, but the way that the printing works is you have to have an extremely high res file in order to make this work, and you have to use the same printing process. You have to print on layers, and it's not just one print. There are actual layers. And so the red dot test is how you tell if a Magic the Gathering card is real or fake. And all you're doing with this is you're taking your jeweler's loop, you're looking at this green dot, that's why it's called the green dot test, and you're zooming it in. I can't do it on the screen, but you're zooming it in to see this. And if you see a bunch of spread red dots, that means it's fake, because they aren't able, even in 30 years, they haven't been able to create the technology to make these dots go away. The way that printing works, dot matrix printing, you need a specific way to do it, and this is the way that Magic has put this in. Now, there's other ways, detecting the fakes. You can do the light test and all that stuff. In my opinion, this is the way to detect fakes. So the question is, did Flesh and Blood put some of those things in place in their cards to protect you, the consumer, of fakes and of people making fake versions of their cards. And I believe the answer is that they have tried to do them. I don't think that they are as effective as the green dot test. But that being said, maybe there's other things that we don't know and we haven't found. The community has found a few things that I think are very, very, very good and very, very, very hard to fix. And I think these fake companies it's gonna take them a long time to get to this point. And so let's take a look at those things, and we can show you. So number one. And this is something that I noticed a long time ago when I was looking for these fake things, and that is that there is a TM on the Flesh and Blood cards, and even on the fakes, you can see it. So this is the fake card. There's a TM on the Flesh and Blood cards, and that TM is right here. You see that TM? Right there. There's a little TM, and if you take a look at the TM, it's actually in like almost intentional how it's printed. Do you see that the gold is underneath the black printing? That's an important thing. That suggests that they have done two layers of printing. And I know it can be, whatever, but I also note that the elbow of the, you're kind of this thing. I'm not sure if this thing right here lines up right with that dot. This is not the point. The point is that they have done something like this. And if you take a look, here's this is a real card. This is a photo that I took of the real tunic. Here's another photo of the real tunic. And then if you go to the next one, this is the fake. Do you see the quality of difference? This is the same zoom level. Real, fake. This is the same zoom level, the same, the only thing I changed was I tried my best to make this, in focus. This is as in focus as it gets. The TM is just not clear. The print that they use is not high resolution enough to pull this off. And you see all the different dots. You see how much clearer this is, how much less dotted it is. Again, this is the same zoom level on these pictures. I did not adjust the zoom on my my little thing here. So these fakes, if you have a jeweler's loop, you can pretty well identify pretty easily just based on that TM, and you can see that the printing process is much higher quality in a professional printer than it is in whatever these fakes are using. And additionally, I think there is something to be said about the way that the black is over top of this gold TM here, the way that they printed it, it seems very intentional. If you're going to put a TM there, a trademark that wasn't intentional, it would probably not be overlapped by anything. But the way that that's overlapped tells me that they want you to be able to know that the printing process was the same and from card to card. So that's the first important thing I note. The second important thing to note is actually shout out to Cody Fuller, somebody who identified this on our Discord, that there's a few locations of the card. One location is right below the Flesh and Blood logo here. Let me pop this up. Right below the Flesh and Blood logo, right around this area, there is a LSS. It literally says LSS in the writing. And there's actually a few of these. I believe there's 3 of them. The 2 of them we'll talk about are right there kind of below the Flesh and Blood logo. And then the other one is if you take your card, you turn it this way, it is right up here in the corner up there. If you just follow this outside border. And that also says LSS right there, LSS. So you want to see my photos of that? Let's see. I think I did my photos of it. We will show, here's my photos of it. Again, same zoom level. I did not change the zoom. I did my best to focus in. Here's your fake card. You see how you can't see the LSS? You can see that they tried, but the print quality wasn't good enough. And here's the LSS. Again, same zoom level. There's no difference in the amount of zoom. Same kind of card, same lighting. It's my thing. I did it. You can see how clearly you can see the LSS there. So LSS has put technology into this, and it's really, really good. It suggests a lot of longevity in the creation of these cards, even in the unlimited print. But there is safety nets here. For those of you who are going to watch this video, for those of you who are going to buy one of these jeweler's loops, I will leave an Amazon link in the description of my video, for those of you who are going to take the time. But here's the issue. The issue is that the amount of people who are watching this video, the amount of people who are gonna pay attention to this or take the time is very minimal. So you need to be very, very careful if you're buying or trading cards, unlimited cards. The nice thing is that in Flesh and Blood, the most value that comes from your cards is your like the older cards is your cold foils. Those are the ones that are going to hold a lot of value. And those are going to be incredibly difficult, in my opinion, to make fake replicas of because of the foiling process. So I think that's going to be pretty difficult. If the game holds true and more and more people keep coming to it, you may see these fake companies try to create those things. But for right now, it seems like the fakes are mostly focused on unlimited prints. And they're mostly focused on trying to rip off those of you who are buying like cards to play. And then I know there's a whole nother segment of you who just don't care, and you're going to buy these tunics. You're going to go try to figure it out and to buy these fake cards that look exactly the same, and you have no ill intent. You don't want to cheat it. You don't want to trade and rip people off. You just want the game to be cheaper. And I do not condone that. I do not agree with that. I think if you want to be a part of this community, you need to, put in the work and keep the community healthy, keep the community kind of free from these fakes and counterfeits. I don't think that you're really helping that. I would say if you want to be a part of this community and you refuse to spend the whatever it is, $100 on a tunic, and so you're going to buy a fake tunic or you're going to buy a Crater Fist or whatever. If you're going to take and use these cards, you need to take them, you need to write something on the back of them like fake. You know what I mean? Like you need to write that. I don't know. I'm not condoning using them. You just need to be very transparent that like you're not going to be trading these or involving them. But at the end of the day, no one's gonna know because no one's gonna jeweler's loop your cards, and that's the unfortunate truth about this kind of stuff is unfortunately the person in front of you across the table with you very well could be playing with a fake, and there's nothing you're going to be able to do about it. And that is the nature that we live in. I know my Commander play group, there's a couple people who do use proxied Magic dual lands, and I'm like, man, like I hate that. It just bugs me. I don't personally like it. But I still enjoy playing with those people, and I understand it a little bit because the value of the cards is so expensive. So that being said, be very careful buying any of these cards. I know like there's a lot of E-Strikes, there's a lot of Tunics, there's a lot of Command and Conquerors. There's obviously some of the equipment from Crew. There's a lot of these cards that you need to be on the lookout for, particularly if you're buying on a TCG Player and from people you don't know. Make sure you get yourself a jeweler's loop. I think that's pretty much all you need to know to figure out if it's real or not. I mean, I didn't even try like a light test because honestly, the light test is mostly for Magic the Gathering because these cards use a blue core, I think. Not a blue core, a black core. But the light test is pretty basic. You just take your card and you go like this. You go like this and you can see through. My light's not even bright enough, but for Magic, that's the light test. Anyway, I didn't even do a light test because there's so many other ways to identify a fake card here. Hope you guys have yourself a fantastic day. Remember to be kind to the people around you. Let me know what you think in the comment section below, and we will see you again later. Don't forget to hit like, subscribe, and share this video around if you want other people to not buy fake cards.